That man and his manga.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. It's once again time for that weirdest of times monthly manga haul, because I didn't have anything else to put out this week and I thought it's been a few weeks. It's once again time to look at what I've been buying, and you can all be all like, oh, he's bought that, and oh, he didn't buy that. Usually the second one. I don't tend to buy the same things that everybody else does. So, first question is, what have you guys been buying and reading this month? I hope you have been buying a lot. And if not, why not? I actually haven't bought quite as much this month. I purposely made a decision to try and rein myself in and finish off a few series that I've been collecting, and we'll go and then see what I can get from there. So, enough chit chat. Let's look at some manga, shall we?
But before we get into all of that, if you're new to the channel and love all things manga and collecting, from figures to anime and light novels, do me a favour and subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss out on new weekly videos.
First up is the almighty My Dress Up Darling, and as you can see, it's still sealed. Sealed! Oh, we do love a good sealed manga on the channel, don't we? I wonder what Yu-Gi-Oh card we'll get in this time. Ah, that joke never gets old, because it wasn't funny from the start. My Dress Up Darling is easily one of my favourite ongoing titles at the moment. It's a cosplay title, that's right, it's the manga about cosplay, and it's nice and spicy to go alongside it. I just have not had the chance to read it as of yet, unfortunately. But it resides in my collection, and we all get to realise that parental advisory is required while reading it. Next up, we have Volume 2 of Mieruko-chan. Now, this is one that I read Volume 1 of quite some time ago, and I was unsure whether or not I wanted to continue with it, and then I just kind of thought, why not? Let's just try out another volume and see where we'll go from there. And you know what? I absolutely love this series. I'm pretty safe in saying that now. It is a horror slash slice of life. That's right, a horror slice of life. The best kind of slice of life, because all slices of lives are really horrors. Especially if it's about jobs. Ugh. Horrible, horrible, spooky things. So, Mieruko-chan is about a young girl who can see dead people, and yeah, she tries to ignore them, but she's often forced into situations which she kind of has to pay attention to them, but also tries to not. It's weird, but it's interesting in a weird way. It reminds me of early Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho before they all just became all about the battle manga. I really like it. I absolutely really like this series. I'm going to do a little bit more of an in-depth discussion on this one, as well as a few others I've picked up this month, because I definitely feel like there's some more underrated titles this month. But yeah, this one, I really enjoyed it. I would really recommend it. I believe there's an anime coming out this year, so I would really recommend going and checking that one out, because it is worth your time. Next up, we have King of the Light Novels in Overlord. This is Volume 13, and this is the second half of the story that was set up in Volume 12. That's right. And it's Overlord. It's absolutely fantastic. What more can I say about this one? I'll probably say quite a bit, but I don't want to spoil anybody. This was an absolutely huge juggernaut of a series, and yeah, it's still going. I believe it's due to finish. I think we're on Volume 14, and I think he's going to go up to 17 or 18. So yeah, I'm really excited for Volume 14 to come out, whenever that may be. I mean, we're pretty much on the same level as Japan now, so it's going to take ages for the next volume to come out. Boo. Boo, I say. Boo. But if you want to get into light novels, I can't recommend this one enough. It's easily one of my favourites, and definitely one that I can't wait to read more of. Next up, we have more of Otherworldly Izakaya Nobu. I finally got Volumes 4, Volume 5, and right just today is Volume 6. So I've actually been getting this and binging reading it as I've went along, and you know what? It is such a good series. I can't decide whether I like this or Restaurant to Another World more, but both are absolutely top tier food manga. This one is more about a pub, It's in another world, and it's more medieval. While they're both kind of fantasy, Restaurant in Another World has more monsters like elves and dragons and gnomes and phoenixes or what have you popping in. Basically, they have the entire cast of Hololive in, but you know, it's this one is more medieval, so you're going to get soldiers, poets, bards, the taxman, all kinds of things. And you know what? It can do a lot worse than this. It's a really nice series. It's really nicely put together as well. I don't really see much about Udon Entertainment, but they seem to have some really nice releases as well. So yeah, if you want a food manga, I would really recommend checking this one out. It is easily one of the best ones out there, at least in my opinion. Next up, we have another one of my favourite light novels, and that is Konosuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World, Volume 14, The Crimson Magic Trials. Again, much like Overlord, this one is ending, so there's not much left of this. I believe there's 3 more volumes. And then, yeah, Konosuba's done. What will we do with our lives? Probably read ReZero, which I actually haven't ordered this month. I didn't realise that ReZero Volume 16 was out this month, and I kind of just saw other people getting it. I was just like, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So yeah, that'll probably be for next month, along with a few other light novels that I kind of forgot were getting released. Light novels are kind of weird because I don't have the time to binge read everything that I used to be able to do over the last year, and now I kind of have a lot of backlog, so I'm slowly chugging my way through the backlog while trying to read things as and when they come out. It's just going a little bit slowly, which is why I haven't bought any more of Haruhi Suzumiya. But this is Konosuba. I haven't had a chance to read it. It only turned up yesterday. I'm expecting it to be very, very good because it's Konosuba. So yeah, watch this space. I'll do a reading review or something on it. No, I won't. I'll probably just mention that I read it and then never talk about it ever again. I will cover Konosuba on a more in-depth video eventually because it's worth it. And I know you guys love it when I cover Konosuba, so yeah. Go, Konosuba! Question time, people. For the next series, what did I buy? Answer in the comments below. Did I buy 1. The Promised Neverland, 2. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or 3. Something completely random that you will never ever guess? If you answered with number 3, My Dad's the Queen of All VTubers, you would have been correct. Now, this is a fun series. I bought this physically because I wanted to cover it on a video. I bought this digitally a while ago, back when it first released, and I recently found out that there's only 3 volumes to it, and I was just like, you know what, I enjoyed this. I'm happy to pick up a 3-volume manga for the sake of, you know, having it in my collection. And this is about a young boy who discovers his dad is the queen of all VTubers, because yes, that joke about all VTubers being guys, it never gets old. But honestly, this one's a lot of fun. The dad, he's just like, he's a bit goofy, and he's kind of somehow the most popular VTuber of all time, even though realistically it's Gargura. And then his mom is like the perfect, ideal person to be a VTuber, but she's not very popular because everybody thinks she's a guy, and then the young son has been trapped in the middle of it, and he ends up becoming a VTuber himself. It's weird, it's wonderful, and it's one that I would definitely recommend checking out if you do like VTubers. There's a lot of fun points in here. I wanted to get it because, first off, I wanted to cover it on a more in-depth video, and also I've kind of got a feeling we're going to get more VTuber stuff, so I kind of want to do it for when I eventually do the VTuber manga video. But honestly, this one's worth checking out. It's something a little bit different, so yeah, and like I said, I think it's only 3 volumes, so it's a nice short one for your collection. Next up, we have Volume 5 of Spy X Family, or Spy Family as I like to call it. I think I'm the only person who does call it. Everyone else I know calls it Spy X Family. But yeah, I call it Spy Family because the X is silent. Like Hunter x Hunter. Yeah. So, this is easily one of the best titles that's running in, or at least running on the Jump app at the moment. I absolutely love it. I've went over this one multiple times. Again, it's another one I really want to cover in depth at some point. I think we're pretty much caught up. I think there's 2 volumes to go until we're caught up in Japan. This came out, I believe, at the end of last month, so I think Volume 6 might be due in July or August, and then will be pretty much caught up with Japan, so I think we'll probably start seeing them slow down a little bit. But if you want something that's like slice of life, but also got spies in, yeah, you're going to have a lot of fun with this one. It's so good. Again, I will cover it more in depth later on, but I've picked up Volume 5 and I haven't yet read it. But I've read it on the Jump app, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Next up is another title that I've discussed previously, and I can't remember if I even picked this one up for my last haul. If I did, tough, you're getting it again. This is Interspecies Reviewers Marionette Crisis Volume 2 of the light novel. That's right, Interspecies Reviewers has a light novel. Something that I need to remind people of pretty much every single time I discuss this particular series. Which is a shame, because I actually find the light novel is the best medium for Interspecies Reviewers. I like it more than the manga, which I liked a little bit more than the anime, which, to be fair, I didn't watch much of the anime because it kind of, well, we all know what happened to the light novel, the anime of this series. So yeah, this one is, again, a standalone story, so you don't need to have read the manga or be caught up in the anime to enjoy this one. I mean, it's not an ideal starting point, but you know, I think very few people are going to be buying this at the very start. But yeah, if you like Interspecies Reviewers, this is a must-have. It goes beyond. That's right, it goes beyond plus ultra condom. And yeah, it really goes beyond, because this is more like a H-line novel rather than, you know, just being ecchi. This goes into everything in excruciatingly detailed descriptions, and yeah, if you know what this series is about, you're gonna have an idea. It's about prostitute monster girls. Next up, we're going to talk about fish, sushi, and sashimi with Oishinbo Volume 4, I believe this one is. This is another Oishinbo a la carte, where they kind of just do a focused, detailed drop on a few of Oishinbo's very, very lengthy run. And this one is more fish and sushi and sashimi focused. That's as much as I can tell you, because I've not had a chance to read this one yet. It's been next on my list, but I kind of bought this and then I was like, oh, I kind of want to have the rest of them so I can just binge it all. So I'm just waiting on them to arrive, and yeah, I'm just waiting and waiting, because I haven't even ordered them yet. I probably should get back and do that. But Oishinbo, if you like food manga, this one, again, much like Izakaya and Nobu, this should be on your list, because it is really good. It goes into such detail. It covers like the history of the food. It like gives you like kind of, it's more grounded in reality than obviously everything else, which works, because it just means that you feel like you're kind of learning something while reading it, and I always love series that manage to do that while also being incredibly entertaining. I'm craving sushi again, so I'm trying to avoid reading this because I will just crave it even more, and I've got no easy access to it. Somebody build sushi near me. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it, and if you guys have not checked it out, I would really recommend it. It's getting a reprint by Viz, so yep, go check it out. It is worth your time if you want something fantastic that is food manga. Next up, we have That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Volume 11. That's right, Volume 11 has finally dropped. In fact, it's been quite a busy month in terms of light novels. We've just had Overlord, we've got Konosuba, we've got ReZero, and we've got Slime Isekai. That's four of the biggest ones that all came out at the same time. We don't have another volume of Tanya. We also had another of Bofuri, and Haruhi just finished as well. So yeah, we've kind of got a little bit of everything if you're a light novel fan at the moment, which is quite exhausting, especially when you're kind of a little bit behind like I am. This came a few days ago. I was going to go on to this next, but this is another 380 page thing, like much like Overlord, so I was just like, yeah, I think I kind of want to have a little bit of a break before I go on to it. I'm looking forward to it because it's always been good. I was fine with Slime. The first half of each volume kind of drags, and then the second half you just absolutely love it. I am working on a video on Slime. I'm going to wait until I finish this volume so I can at least discuss the stuff that happens in it. It probably doesn't make much difference because I try not to go too into spoilers, especially for later volumes like this, but it's a fantastic series. I don't think the light novel gets enough love. Everyone I know kind of buys the manga, but go check out the light novel. It is absolutely worth your time. They're so far ahead now. Really worth your time. Go on and check it out. Next up is another one that was, well, it was somewhat recommended to me. This is one I've had my eye on for quite some time. This was actually a one that Ichiro Oda, who creates One Piece, tweeted that they basically bought a few of these volumes and then they asked the question, am I addicted? So I knew I had to check this one out when it released, and honest to God, this is one of the most fun series I have read in a long time. If you guys are sleeping on this, then wake up right now. This is about a story about an uncle from another world. Now, don't get too concerned if you're not into isekai. This is an isekai. However, this is an uncle who was transported to another world by a truck and then came back. So this is the uncle, after 17 years, he has came back to the normal world and is trying to adjust into life. However, he keeps remembering things from his previous world. He keeps getting asked by his nephew. And he's just like, oh yeah, this girl, she really hated us, and she was one of the few nice ones, but you could tell that she really liked him. But he was treated like an orc by everybody because he wasn't attractive. Everybody in the overworld was super attractive, but he wasn't. So everyone treated him like really horrible. And I really like that idea. I love the idea of someone going to another world, having a really crap time, and then kind of coming back and just being like, oh yeah, it must have been so good. All those isekai say it's really good, and he's just like, nah, it's crap. But it's really good. Like, for example, I'm about the same age as the uncle in this, so there's a lot of stuff. For example, it mentions the console wars, and his first question is just like, what happened to Sega? Who won? Nintendo, Sega? And it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of PlayStation and Nintendo now. So I was just like, no! And that was like more depressing than anything that happened to him in another world. Honestly, this is such a fun series. I really am looking forward to checking out more. I think they're actually getting volume 2 out rather quickly, so I'm looking forward to that one coming out. But yeah, if you haven't seen it already, definitely recommend checking out Uncle from Another World. It is so worth your time. Don't sleep on it. Really, do not. So finally we have Do You Like the Nerdy Nurse? Now, this is a title that I didn't really think much of. I seen it a few times, and I was just like, oh, this is just going to be another one of those ecchi series. I'm not going to enjoy it. I loved it. I absolutely adored this series, and I'm saying this a lot with this haul. I feel like this is probably been one of my most strongest hauls because I found a lot of really great series, and there's continue on a lot of my favourite series. But yeah, this is absolutely a fantastic series that nobody's going to read. It's a one and done. It's a one shot, and it's about a nerdy nurse. So a young boy discovers that the nurse in his school is really into gacha games like Fate Grand Order, and she's got a lot of husbando, and they have a bit of a bond together, and it's really nice. It's kind of like, she's kind of like obviously trying to hide everything that she does, but then she realizes she shouldn't bond with people because of it, and it's really nice. It's interesting because it kind of starts off and it looks like it's going to be an older woman / younger man relationship, which I know is getting more popular in Japan. We might do a video on that in the near future, but I was kind of worried that was going to be the focus, but it wasn't something to be worried about because it kind of moves away from that and becomes something else entirely. If you want adults being adult and while also having a geeky life, for example, titles such as Kobayashi and Waterkoi, you're going to have a great time with this one. Honestly, really recommend checking it out. It is so worth your time. And again, check it out. It's one and done, so it won't, if you don't like it, you've got the entire thing. You can get rid of it if you want to. But yeah, don't sleep on it. Again, it's another fantastic title. So there we have it. My entire manga haul for June 2021. And you know what? I think this is probably the strongest haul I've had. It's not as big, but I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of my favourite light novel titles continuing. We've got Spy Family, another fantastic series that was one of my favourite in Jump. We've got 2 of the best food manga titles, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 fantastic newcomers, 5 if you can count My Dress Up Darling. I think this is easily one of my favourite hauls. But that's just my opinion. What have you guys been picking up this month? Is there anything on here that that's kind of tickled your fancy? Let me know in the comments. I really want to see what you guys have been reading. And if you haven't already, remember to like, consider subscribing. We've got a food manga video coming very shortly. It's nearly done. Very nearly done. And I will be doing videos on titles such as Uncle from Another World. And that time I got reincarnated as a slime. And my dad's a VTuber very shortly. See you there. See you next time. Goodbye.